drive-through burger. You ever seen that? Kai Borg Crossing the Line. He's like, I live my dreams through that.
What's up, Ed?
What's up, Rick?
How are you?
Good, brother.
Nice to see you. Can you
Nice to
tell
see you.
everybody your whole name and hometown?
Evan Valier, Kauai, Hawaii. I guess North Shore, Kauai. I guess Kalihiwai, Kauai.
A little bit
There we go.
of
There's some
everything.
details. Yeah, right up the road. Oh, I grew up with Tevo. I'm a little bit older than him, but
Okay.
we grew up together surfing as Groms. He was always super creative, doing little surf contests, starting little companies, and getting things going from a young age.
Speaking about like starting little surf companies and surf like contests and all that, I remember one year you tried to do like, you know, biggest wave Britain all that one year, right? The best wave. What can you kind of explain us?
Yeah, online, we were thinking the biggest wave, biggest paddle wave, and then best barrel of the year.
Do you remember what year that was?
It was 2010 or 9 or 2009,
Okay.
2010.
And then didn't you have like an award for like biggest paddle in or outer reef bomb or something?
Yeah, yeah.
Can you kind of tell me a story? Cause I've heard.
Well, I decided to do that event the same season that Scion ended up paddling into a huge wave
Right.
on that
Okay.
blue board. So he won the award because it was a massive,
Yeah. How do you
unbelievable
know?
wave.
Yeah.
It was
fucked
just
up.
beautiful, gorgeous, huge wave.
Mhm.
But I don't know. Around that time, everybody was getting really psyched and paddle surfing and paddling big waves. You had the guys sending it at Mavericks, and that was, I think, right when Shane had that really gnarly hold down,
Yep.
and they didn't have any inflation vests, and then those came out right shortly after that, and then the level even went up and up.
Right.
But right at that time, there was no vests, and guys were just on the verge of just sending it.
And you're one of those guys that's going on those outer reefs. I remember freaking like you were just a pipe guy, but you were like outer reefs and all that. How was that, like-
One good surfer around that time was right in the evening. We were checking the surf at Pipe, and Sign was there, and Kala, and last minute decided, okay, let's go up the road. And it was getting kind of dark, but the three of us paddled out, and there's a pretty rad photo of it. But I think Sign and Kala were dropping on the same wave, and then I was just paddling up the face.
No
That would be
way.
a good one to find. But yeah, that was right during that time. Really exciting. All the old like guns were getting dusted off, and then new ones were getting designed. First time I surfed Pipeline, I was 11 years old. I was over there for a Hassa contest at
Okay.
Sandy's or something. and
Right.
we pulled up and we actually parked at Jamie's house. It was Stephen McCarthy, Roy Powers. Who else was there? Jonah Morgan.
No
Yeah,
way.
we were like Team Blue Hawaii.
Okay.
Yeah. We had Manal.
That's a damn big crew.
Yeah. So we were over for a Sandy's contest, but we surfed that evening and saw some of the pros. And actually, it was that same day that Bonga did that backside turn on his longboard, and there was that Hawaiian style T-shirt.
Okay.
I remember watching that wave live and then seeing the T-shirt.
No way.
That was the first day I surfed Pipeline.
What year was that?
Geez, I mean, well, that's almost like 29 years ago.
29 years ago.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So
Was
whatever
it-
year that was.
I know. What is, I don't know. I know. I kind of got like freaking my brain just kind of frazzled there.
Yeah.
But
I don't know, surfing over here, trying to look for barrels at home. There's a nice barrel wave down the road, but Pipeline's the Mecca. North Shore's the Mecca.
Right.
And there's just something about the way that Pipeline is and how tall it gets and just how incredible that wave is.
right.
But I've always loved surfing over there.
Right.
Get to see guys like you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're the man.
Talk story.
Fuck yeah.
Cruise.
That's always cruise at the houses, barbecue after getting barrels all day, have a couple beers. That was always my favorite. And then
Yeah. Seeing all my friends from around the islands,
Yep.
around the world.
talk story, catch up. That's still, and just surfing, pushing each other's level of surfing. But
Pipeline's such a simple wave though. All you got to do is just make that drop and then pull in. But yet this one. You got to do that one line. Yeah, the one line, and that's all you really need. But you got to do it right.
you gotta do, yeah.
That's why I like it.
Braden taught me inside rail. That's the biggest mistake everybody makes. They don't lean enough on their inside rail. I'm like, oh, that's a good one.
He knows.
He knows. And then, so 29 years ago, right, North Shore. After, that was like Grom days. So, like, fast forward. When was your, like, first fucking real experience on the North Shore?
Pipeline the wave or
Or no,
in the
just
North Shore?
coming to North Shore, Pipeline, all. What was, like, the first time you like, came solo and you wanted to be a pro surfer and you're like, Steph told me, like, he stayed at the Volcom House and he was like...
Well, okay, so that was what I was gonna bring up.
Yes.
I was with him on that trip.
Okay.
Yeah. We stayed over there at the Volcom houses when they were at VLAN.
Yes, okay, here we go. Yeah, okay.
So no, I was there, and then did he tell you everything that happened?
No, not everything. So I want
There was
your perspective.
There was lots of things that happened that trip, but that was the one we came, I believe, right when Bruce got second in the pipe man.
Jake Patterson, when they're counting up 10, 9, freaking now he gets that crazy backdoor wave.
It was right then. We never thought of it as like a loss, because to me, him and Andy were just above and beyond.
Right.
You know, but they were like in the other room. He had all like the locomotion boards and the Fulcum and the Rossins, and they were just big time. And yet, that was just such a gnarly, rugged scene with some of the heaviest guys cruising right there on the North Shore. And we were just somehow ended up on the floor at the Volcom House, surfing V-Land, and just seeing all those guys come through, and it was a super rad experience. Yeah.
What year was that?
That was later. That wasn't really like my first trip over there, but that was one of my early ones. I was 14, and I think that was one of the ones that we went by ourselves, you know, as kids.
Right.
And stayed over there and surfed.
And then where was like your favorite spot to hang out? So hang out once Volcom picked up the house at Pipe and stuff. You guys all would come hang out, and you guys kind of ruled at that. You know, there's the whistles and all that. How was that during Pipe during that when you guys kind of?
Yeah,
it more running the show, kind of like, you know, kind of when everyone got older.
Well, I was really lucky to, you know, grow up in Hawaii and, you know, and know who to respect and that. But Hawaii Boys paved the way, and you know, they cleared it out for everybody, and they looked after the younger guys, especially if you didn't step out of line either.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but those guys had that whistle going, and you know, but things were good. It was orderly. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I never saw anybody really get rousted or beat up because of them not being in the wrong. Mm-hmm. You know, so it was a good lesson.
It was a good right.
Yeah.
And who was like your favorite surfers and idols when you were growing up?
At Pipeline, you mentioned Braden would definitely have been one of them. Andy and Bruce, rest of the Kauai boys, a lot of the underground legends over here, like Terry Chung, Titus Kinamaka. I used to look up to those guys, and I still do. But I don't know, I've always had this thing for underground guys that could just rip and send it and weren't actually part of the pro scene. So it's always been cool to see guys that would live their lives about surfing and just rip and not even be about the sponsors or anything.
Right, that's sick. And then, what's like your ideal conditions and your favorite kind of like sessions you had out there at Pipe?
Over at Pipe? I pretty much like it as big as it is when it's the lefts.
All lefts.
Yeah, and you're not getting steamrolled, you know what I mean?
Right,
you don't want to work too hard.
Right.
But you want them loading up, and as big as they get loading up, just long interval, nice and west, and that's the one.
What kind of boards are you riding, or who's shaping them, and then, you know, what kinds of fins are you using out there when you're surfing those conditions?
When I was younger, I had this Magic 7.6 Chuck Andrus.
Okay.
It was a good board. 7.6. It seems like a lot longer than what a lot of everybody's riding now. Later, I had a lot of good Tokoros, a lot of good Eric Arakawas, and usually 3 fins. I like 3 fins out there at Pipeline because I try to set that one edge, that one turn. Yeah, that was my best luck on thrusters.
Right, sick. And then, who do you kind of catch yourself sitting next to, like, or who, you know, when you surf out there, like, who was kind of like, because I would say, like, everyone has their little spot, right? Some guys sit in the second reef, some guys sit in the middle, some guys are strictly first reef, some guys are off the wall.
I like, I don't know if I like those really steep drops, so I like to sit off the first reef a little bit.
Okay.
And I like to sit a little bit further out because I can paddle pretty quick, so I could get into them early and get my line going a little bit early. So I would generally sit around reef, except that those guys would be a little further in because they can take a little steeper drop, and I'd be slightly further out than them. But then that being said, I don't know, you can get such gems, middle of the reef or end bowl, right in the bar, you know. But if it's big like we were talking about, would have been in that area.
And when you usually pull up, where was your favorite spot to look at the waves from over there?
To check it? Oh, probably just walk out the trail, look who's on the deck, walk up on the deck. Spent a lot of time hanging out at the Quicksilver House though, because I was sponsored by them.
Okay.
In younger days, and then all my friends are over there still. What? All my friends are next door, Volcom House too.
Yeah, and then speaking of the Quicksilver House, those days, how was it? Like, you would just like live over there at the houses, right, and all that. And how was it during those days? Was there like some?
Well, it was good. I would make my breakfast just to have somebody show up just in time to eat it. I would make killer breakfast, and it would be served, and then I would not be sitting in front of it. But that's all good. That's a small price to pay for, you know, the elders and the boys. So, no, I don't know. I always looked up to those guys, and I think I showed them respect, so they treated me well, being
Right.
around over there.
And then, what's the most memorable wave you ever had out there?
Would easily have to be the one I got in the surf contest in, they called it a Hansen's Pipeline Pro back then.
Okay.
It's on my 7.6 Chuck Anders that I told you about, and kind of got faded. I thought I was getting all stylish off the bottom, faded, and then when I went to set my rail, I was like, oh my god, I'm getting behind it now.
Right.
Little like rubber G5 plastic fin. But anyway,
Hey, G5 plastic fins. Wow.
Yeah, that was.
Shut the hell up.
And like the board, I remember being in the moment going, oh my gosh, this board just stopped. And but I got it in the right trim in the lower part of the wave, and everything, I totally stopped. And the wave just so happened to like pitch out over and beyond and above me, and everything stopped for a second. I thought I was totally gonna die, and then it just kind of pushed me through. And,
That was during the contest.
it was during the contest. Yep, I could hear this set. People were yelling and whistling for like a minute straight for this set. I could just hear these people on the beach whistling, and then like when I started paddling for it, I could hear them whistling like they were like whistling for me or whatever. I don't know if they were or not, but I could like, it felt so close because there was like almost no other wave between
Yeah.
where I was on almost second reef in the deck. There was like no wave. And so I could hear everything really clearly. But that was definitely my most memorable ride.
You know, then talking about contests too. Frick, you're like not just a contender at Pipe too. You're there always like battling at Haleiwa, Sunset. I was talking with Freddie P about this when we did this interview with Freddie P. I think during that time, that like little window, not little window, but like I think in that span of like from 2000 to like 2020, like seriously 2015, whatever the date I'm trying to think, that stretch, everyone who won a contest was mostly regular footers, right? And the three goofy footers to win at one of the hardest freaking places to win at Sunset is you, Freddie P, and CJ Holmgood. That just still has been embedded in my brain. That's like they're all frick. That's because who else won during that time? That's a goofy footer out there.
Oh, that's
One
interesting.
thing. That's fucking
really,
epic.
It's really crazy because it's a really good backside wave.
It is.
You know what I
Because
mean?
you can
But-
throw it up there, big carbs.
But I
Yes.
guess that being said, you must be able to get a better read on it front side. So I don't know. I mean, like, if the consistency was that much in favor of regular foots, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It says something right there, but I don't know. It's a good backside wave.
Do you remember that year? Was it the XL that you
Yeah, it
won,
was
right?
the
Who,
XL.
who was in the finals? It was you,
Gavin Beshin, Michelle Perez, and
Poncho or something? No.
it wasn't Poncho.
I just had to get out.
It
Like,
was,
that has to be a good guess. That's one name I wanted to throw out.
Well, he was always there.
Right.
Anyway,
That's why.
besides that one, I guess. Gosh, who else was in that final? Michelle, Gavin, and I don't know, but Gavin Gillette and Kala carried me up the beach. That was pretty
That's
fun.
fucking epic. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And earlier too, we were talking about like, you know, photo sluts and all that. Like, you know, because back in the day, now it's just like everyone's on the web. But back in the day, you guys had to go like, hang out with the photos and get your shots. Like you have 2 cover shots right there, and just freaking hanging right there. That's pretty epic. So I wanted to ask you, like, how did you like? What was your motivation to do all of that and get the shots, and what did you have to do?
How did you get paid to surf?
How did you
I
get paid to
wasn't-
surf and all that?
I wasn't very good at doing the photo thing, and I wish I would have pursued that more. I always thought that a good photo needed to come with a good wave, in which that's nice to have, but you can get magical photos being way more creative with it than actually waiting for a good wave, because photos just photograph depending on what's happening in that moment, you know what I mean? But I don't know, that being said, I just tried to surf Pipeline and get the best waves I could. And I was kind of nervous of off the wall for a really long time. I didn't like that wave backside.
Right,
And,
it's
I
freaking kind
didn't
of a gnarly wave.
Didn't want to get tomahawked, and those were where a lot of good photo days went down. So, but Pipeline, my first memorable photo was a Hank photo at about a 4 or 5 foot, just a little double up nug at Pipeline, and he just happened to be in the right spot, and it was still film. But
Right.
he-
Okay. So you never know how long it's gonna take. Like
Yeah, you didn't know until you developed, but he knew right then and there. He said that was it.
that was
That was a
it.
good one. Yeah.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, okay.
Right
You
on.
know, but you don't see it or
Yeah,
whatever for
yeah,
months.
yeah,
or-
they'll
I
tell you
never
that.
saw it for like 6 or whatever months until it was actually in a magazine and it was a Quicksilver ad. But that was
no
that.
way.
But yeah, the skill of those guys, they knew when they got it.
Mhm.
But so that was a good photo experience for me. And it wasn't a great wave like I was saying a minute ago, but it was just a gem and it just lined up and it looked
It
good.
was an ad.
Yeah.
That was like your first ad. What was like your first spread or first like big special photo like cover? Like it wasn't like like do you remember that? Like
That might have been, I want to say that was my first ad that we were just talking about.
right.
Yeah.
So it's like that's like your first spread anything like mag all that.
Yeah, I mean, I got little editorial and stuff here and there, and but that was the first one. If not like some sort of like, well, let's just call it like a lifestyle.
The lifestyle. I like that.
I had some lifestyle stuff with Quicksilver. They were backing me pretty good at one point in time, but they were doing all kinds of campaigns in surf mags and other magazines. They were really popular.
You had a freaking 2-page spread in Maxim magazine, bro. It was
Really?
teen sensation, bro. Chicks had it
Really?
on their walls in high school, I remember.
Wow.
There were chicks in my high school had the spread on their wall. I was like, what
Wow.
But I think unfortunately that came earlier before my. I wish I would have been a surfer first, but.
What's like some of your favorite surf trips you ever done? Like shooting or do you have do you ever do photo trips and all of that or?
Yeah, we went to Porto one time. That was really fun. That was not till after this. That was like in 2006 or 7. We went to Porto. Done some good Desert Point trips.
Yep,
I
that's just me. And
I love those ones. Lots of Tahiti trips. I kind of like inner island trips
right.
or short trips.
Yeah.
Short and sweet. Bowls. I love surfing town.
Yeah,
do
that
bowls,
was fun.
day trips, stuff like that. Shit, Teva, where else have I been?
Boat trip.
Oh yeah, we had a
We
good
had
boat
epic
trip.
boat trip a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Seabass got all of us on one of the boats for like pretty much nothing.
That was a good trip
That was
right
sick.
there.
It was me, you, and Fuller on our own little program. And all the young boys were battling. Yeah.
Bali, I don't know. Different contests. South Africa was pretty cool one year when I was younger. Stuff like that.
Good trips, and then
Oh, my favorite trip over the last couple of years was going to Malaya.
oh that Malaya.
That's where I
fucking-
went. I was there during that really good swell. Was it last year or the year before? No, that was a good trip.
Right.
Only 2 days, but man, that was phenomenal. That was maybe one of the highlights of my surfing life.
Right.
Seeing that wave, seeing how big it was, just the colors were just incredible. And you knew in the moment that it was really a special swell, besides the quality of the waves you were looking at.
Freight train on that reef was that was freaking crazy.
Yeah, totally was.
And fuck, I'm having another these brain farts.
Teva, good party.
Yeah.
Yeah, good party the other day.
Yeah.
What do you think of the party?
It was awesome. I
Oh,
thoroughly
how was
enjoyed
it?
I think that was the best party that ever happened at Tahiti Nui. That's pretty good because that place has been a long time running, and this guy topped it off.
Whatchamacallit? Hey, what's the do you have some fucking crazy North Shore stories? Like some like, do you have any? Cause you've been coming to North Shore for so long, so like.
Well, I'm a pretty mellow guy, so for me to be like in the thick of something crazy, I don't know. Surfing wise,
Well,
yeah.
surfing. That was a crazy surf story that like.
Well, I don't know. I think that you take for granted how powerful the waves are over there.
Right.
Before you know it, there's like a 12-footer landing on your face at Pipeline or something, and you realize how big it is. But I don't know. Waimea Bay the other year was really big. I watched Jake's wave when that swell. Okay, so that swell was really interesting because I don't know what's the deal with the forecast, but they keep saying it's one thing and it's something totally different.
Right.
So we were there to surf Pipeline that day, and all of a sudden Waimea is like 20 feet, and we're looking for boards all morning.
Right.
I had this funny joke. I was like, okay, I'm gonna. We went over to Makua's and he had a board for me. It was a JS board, and he didn't want it, so he sold it to me. And I had this joke that all day that I was surfing is that okay, I'm gonna buy this board and it's gonna end up back at his house. So it's still there.
Really?
Yeah. So I bought the board for him because he wanted to sell it, but I needed somewhere to keep it.
Right.
So it's back. It's back back in his rack. I think he was trying to get rid of it. And
Right.
I mean, I want it. It's a good place for to keep it though.
Right.
I don't think anybody else will take it.
At least you know the board's there.
It's there. But that was a good Waimea day. Fuller was out. Jake was there. He hucked himself on that one. That was crazy. What else happened? John got some good waves.
That was like the worst wipe I've ever had.
Maybe at Haleiwa, I've wanted to tap out before.
Really?
That's what it was. I went when you're in the current, you're fighting the current, and all of a sudden this wave came, and you're just like, get me out of here, and I paddled, and I think I stopped paddling too early.
Really?
And I kind of like
catch the wave, or what do you
yeah,
mean?
I just like one stroke too early or whatever, and I was trying to get up and like.
No, that's not one stroke too early. No.
Does that happen to people? That's like my surf lessons, but like that's what I did, and I kind of just missed my board, and I fell at the top of the wave instead of the bottom, and then it just like sucked me over, and then getting really violently pinned, not hitting the bottom, and like feeling the current like underwater just suck you out to sea. Yeah, the wave's trying to push you in, and it just long hold down. That was a good one.
That's gnarly.
Haleiwa's crazy.
Haleiwa's that toilet bowl section. It's kind of a different beast. People kind of like they don't know until you get caught in that situation. You're like, oh, better be careful.
It's got some power.
Yeah, it does, and it's like a little bay because there's a Haleiwa harbor too. So it kind of you don't think like it's such a like gnarly powerful wave because it looks like
Right.
it's like a little in this little area. But once you get out there, oh, it's kind of a big playground. Like oh, I don't know. I kind of underestimated this.
A lot of water moving on outside reefs too, and then right there. But now that you see that, there was this one wave I got at Pipeline one time, and I didn't set my rail early enough, and I had barely made the bottom, and I looked up, and I still decided to go for it, and I almost made it, and then right then, and luckily I was already anticipating falling, so I fell at the same time, but the thing almost took my head off.
Right.
And then I was like on my back, going down to the bottom, and actually I got really lucky that I didn't hit, but that was like so scary how bad it could have gone. That was pretty scary. But Pipeline, you have to pay attention to every split second, or it's life or death.
Yeah, it's fucking gnarly, and then fuck.
One thing, I hurt my knee surfing Pipeline actually, and it wasn't because of a big wave, it was because I tried to turn my board.
Really?
And I just twisted my knee too much right on that 7.6 that I liked. That's how I hurt my knee bad, was actually trying to do a cutback at the end of some wave.
Wow. No.
But, so that was actually my worst injury, probably, was twisting my knee out right there at Pipe.
Wow. That's crazy. A little fucking
yeah.
A little cutback. Yeah.
Yeah,
like, not a little, but like it's just crazy. A cutback after getting blown out of the barrels. You're like, you would think you're gonna do it on a wipeout or like. You would expect that, because that's how Nate Fletch got. That's how Nate broke his femur doing a cutback out there. Right.
Out of all the crazy waves he's ridden.
And how all the crazy airs, yeah, everything he's done.
And then it was like that.
That's so like injury
That's
can happen.
I heard when it broke too. You could hear it.
Yeah,
they heard it from the beach.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, that's pretty gnarly.
That guy's got some torque. That's for sure.
But I have another question: is who do you think's gonna win if it's not you?
What's that?
Slab of the season, 10 G's.
Oh gosh, I saw the wave. I saw a wave that. Well, actually, I've seen some incredible waves. Every time at the beginning of the season, I'm like, okay, there's no way somebody's gonna top that wave. Lo and behold, man, guys, the level is so high that you would just be blown away at what's gonna happen by the end of the season, even though the bar is up there. But Kainehe would definitely have my winner, but I'm a big fan of Benji.
Benji too. Are those some of the waves that from what you've seen? Because these days you don't even come to Pipe, but you'll see all the updates. Like, oh, this guy kind of crazy wave. Oh, that guy kind of crazy wave. There's always like a highlight video, right? Every camera guy's posting every different angle. What's your you know what I mean? Like.
Well, hopefully it's not close, because then it gets hard.
Yes.
Like the underrated thing is it's nice if there's a clear separation.
Yeah, it does.
I don't like
really
those close calls in surfing. Those are hard to deal with. But it's the cool thing about Instagram is that the best stuff will surface up. You know what I mean? So we're already seeing that. So but you guys had it on your Instagram already. First thing, you guys are pretty on it.
We have a few, yeah. So are those like some of the? So those are some of your like.
I think those two waves might have been the best two waves I saw.
Okay.
But my favorite two goofies out there are probably Koa Rothman and Benji.
Nice.
Those guys are my inspiration as goofies. Those guys are badass. And then who else is out there, goofy footers? I don't know, all the regulars that have been doing it for so long, it just like impresses me that they can still do it and just still getting crazy waves, you know, like the guys that I grew up with, like Jamie is, you know, my age and he's just like still getting incredible waves, you know, and then the guys younger than me, like Mason and stuff, you know, you're good friends, and
Yeah.
they're just like still getting crazy waves all these years.
Who was your favorite who was someone that you always looked up to when you first went up there?
Would have been Andy and Bruce, of course. At Pipeline, yeah. But like I said earlier, Braden as a goofy footer,
Yeah,
insane.
favorite surfers, idols,
goofy.
yeah.
I don't know. Mark Healy was super rad because he was such a small kid and just pulling into the biggest, most insane tubes. You know, that was just whoever was sending it the hardest, which was those guys. But like, I mean, Sean Briley and just like you just have to think of all the, you guys know, all the guys that were insane out there. And I don't know, there's so much talent too. It's just because someone doesn't consistently do it doesn't mean the other guy's not going to just send the gnarliest wave. And they're going to be just the true hero. That's what the slab's all about too, yeah. Somebody just coming out of the woodwork and just sending it. Joey's wave a couple years ago, man, if that was this year. Right?
Yeah. And then, what have you been up to lately? How's life? What's going on? You know, you've been back here. How's everything?
Good. This is my little store in Honolulu. I've been teaching surf lessons for a long time.
Right.
Got my Honolulu Surf School business and just working away. Started a boat charter company, doing boat tours down the Poly Coast. But I don't know. I've always liked to surf. The one thing I didn't like about it was not having to do something to do in the free time.
Right.
Because you know, some people like to cruise and do their thing and they like that. But I always needed to be like doing one next step or working on something, so this has been good for me. And that's actually something I wish I would have known when I was younger, is to have some sort of business or some sort of second output in my energy. That would have been good. But here I am now, trying to balance. Now the problem is I don't get to surf as much as I want to. So,
right.
Yeah, so you gotta find the balance. And also too, you know, people forget that, you know, having money is a valuable thing in your life. You know what I mean? And it's going to give you peace of mind, confidence, and freedom and choices.
Right.
And so surfers out there, if you're a young kid, you know, you should also be hustling on making sure your money's good.
Yeah.
Because it's going to give you confidence and choices and peace of mind.
And especially with what's going on right now with pro surfing, it's not the best time to be a pro surfer. You know, it's not like back in the day when you guys would come to the North Shore. Like I was talking with Steph, you can freaking get one wave. Like Dave Wassel, he freaking got on how that one wave, fucking that huge closeout, right? And then he got that crazy fucking, who was it, Eichner or whatever, got that photo, and he got spreads and covers, or like, right? And then his career, boom, he blew back up. Or like he was always around. He's like, but that's right. That's kind of,
yeah.
One wave can make your career. That's how it was.
Unfortunately,
but now there's no.
Yeah, you're right. Unfortunately, there's not really a career path now. You kind of gotta make your own way, but you also have to make your own value, and you also have to make your own sales.
Right.
In the most part, which is like mostly off of your social media. But back in the day, there kind of was a clear path. You were gonna get photos, and you were gonna get sponsored, and it was kind of clear on how you could do that, or you're gonna win contest. But right now, you could be doing both and not making any money.
You know, you have to find like even now you have to find your niche, but that's, you know what I mean, back in the day it was a little bit easier to find your niche. You know, to like, well, what are you gonna do? The contest guy, big wave guy, you can do it all, or like the air guy.
You gotta be good, you gotta be entertaining, and you gotta have something that people want to watch, or you gotta be promoting something that people want to buy.
That's
or a
true.
combination of all that, and you're gonna be successful. And then you'll find an avenue, social media or endorsements, but it's got to be entertaining, it's got to be creative, it's got to be raw, it's got to be edgy.
I like that. What do you think?
Alright, Tama, look at you.
Nice to see you. Thank you so much for your time.
Likewise, good to see you, brother.
Nice to see you, bro.
Thanks for everything. Appreciate it.
Chee!